Look, time is the only thing you can't get back. You can lose money, you can lose people, you can lose opportunities, and maybe you'll find a way to bounce back from all of that. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. Too many of us live like tomorrow is promised, like we got a lifetime on credit. The truth, you don't. Every day is a deposit you either invest or waste. The question is, how are you spending yours? Today I want to break down 6 keys that'll make sure you don't waste your life. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up anywhere. That's the truth. Life without purpose is like driving a car with no destination. You burn gas, you waste miles, but you don't arrive. And a lot of people live like that. Every day just moving, just existing, but not building toward anything. They wake up, go through the motions, and then wonder years later why they feel empty. You gotta stop and ask yourself, why am I here? What wakes me up in the morning? What's the reason I can't sleep at night? Because the vision is so heavy on my mind. Purpose is what separates just breathing from really living. It's the thing that makes you walk through fire because you know what's on the other side. When you don't have it, life feels random and every little problem feels like it's breaking you. But when you got purpose, even the pain has meaning. Even the struggle makes sense because you know you're carrying something bigger than yourself. Think of Malala Yousafzai. She risked her life for education, something we might take for granted, but she understood her purpose was bigger than her own safety. That's what purpose does. It pulls courage out of you that you didn't even know you had. Now, I know not everybody's purpose is to be on the world stage, and that's fine. You don't need cameras on you for your life to matter. You just need clarity in your own lane. Think about this. A mechanic who loves fixing cars might not be famous, but his purpose is to keep families safe on the road. A teacher in a small town might never be on the news, but her purpose is to light up the minds of the next generation. Purpose doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. It just has to be real. The problem is too many people never stop to figure it out. They let life decide for them. They let bills, routines, or other people's opinions dictate what they do. That's how dreams die. Not because someone stole them, but because they never got the attention they needed to grow. If you don't take control, you'll live out someone else's purpose and then look back regretting you never chased your own. And finding purpose isn't always instant. Some of y'all might be frustrated like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That's okay. Purpose isn't always a lightning bolt. It's more like building muscle. You try, you fail, you explore, and little by little you get clearer on what feels right. Don't wait for it to fall from the sky. Start by asking, what am I naturally good at? What do people come to me for? What problems in the world bother me so much I can't ignore them? The answers to those questions are clues. When you get clarity, it'll change how you move. You'll stop wasting energy on distractions. You'll stop comparing yourself to other people because you know what lane is yours. Purpose makes your no stronger because you're saying yes to something greater. It gives you stamina. Without it, the grind gets tiring. With it, the grind feels like investment. Let me put it like this. Imagine you're carrying 2 buckets of water up a hill. If it's just for no reason, you're gonna quit halfway because it's heavy, it hurts, and it feels pointless. But if you know those buckets are gonna save your family, you're gonna push through the pain. That's the difference purpose makes. It gives your struggle value. Real talk, people waste years chasing things that don't align with who they are, chasing approval, chasing trends, chasing money without meaning. And the saddest part, even when they get it, they still feel empty because they never ask, does this feed my purpose? Money without meaning won't sustain you. Fame without purpose will crush you. But even a small life with real purpose feels rich. So don't just exist. Don't just clock in and clock out, waiting for the weekend, waiting for retirement, waiting for someday. Someday is not guaranteed. What matters is today. Ask yourself, am I moving with purpose or am I just moving? Because motion without meaning is wasted life. Your purpose doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It just has to be yours. Once you lock into it, protect it. Build around it. Let it shape your decisions. Let it fuel your growth. That's how you make sure your life counts. Time is your real currency. We talk about money all day, how to get it, how to save it, how to flip it. But what good is money if you don't respect the thing it actually buys? Time is the one resource you can't earn back. You can lose $1,000 and find a way to get it back. You can lose a car, a job, a house, and bounce back. But the hours you waste, they're gone forever. Some of us protect money more than we protect minutes, but it's those minutes that shape the life you want. Look around right now. The average person spends 6-7 hours a day on their phone, scrolling, watching, consuming. That's almost a part-time job of feeding distractions. And if you multiply that out over a year, that's literally months of your life. Months you could have used learning something new, starting a business, building your body, or even just being more present with your people. Imagine if you took even half that time and invested it into yourself. A year from now, you'd be a whole different person. The truth is, most people don't treat time like it's valuable because they don't feel the loss until it's too late. You don't see the hours slipping away in real time. You only feel it when you look back and realize years went by and nothing changed. That's why you got to be intentional now. Ask yourself, if my hours were dollars, would I be proud of how I'm spending them? Because every hour you waste is like throwing cash in the fire. Think about how many people get stuck in cycles because of wasted time. A person spends years working a job they hate, complaining every day, but never using their free hours to build an exit plan. They tell themselves, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next year, and next year becomes 10 years. Then one day they wake up realizing they gave away their best years for a paycheck that barely paid the bills. That's not just lost time, that's lost opportunity. Doesn't mean you can't relax or enjoy yourself. Rest is important, but there's a difference between recharging and wasting. Scrolling endlessly, binge watching every show, arguing online, those are empty investments. They don't build you, they don't feed your spirit, and they don't move you closer to your goals. On the other hand, using time to learn, create, or connect with people you love, those moments multiply. They compound into something real. Ask anybody who's achieved something meaningful and they'll tell you it came down to how they manage their time. Athletes who train while others sleep, artists who put in hours perfecting their craft, entrepreneurs who study the game instead of wasting nights. They all understood that time is more valuable than money. They didn't have more hours in a day than you. They just made theirs count. And let's be real, life is unpredictable. You don't know how much time you really have. You might be 20, 30, 40 thinking you've got decades left, but nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. That's not to scare you, that's to wake you up. Every day is a deposit. You either invest it or waste it. One day you won't have another deposit to make. People think later is an option, but later is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. Later is how dreams die. Later is how potential never sees the light. If something matters to you, give it your time now. Even if it's just a little every day, those hours add up. Consistency compounds. What feels small in the moment turns into something powerful over time. So I say it again, value your time. Don't let distractions, toxic relationships, or fear rob you of it. Don't treat it like it's cheap when it's the most expensive thing you'll ever own. Start looking at your day like an investment portfolio. Where are you putting your hours? Are they paying you back with growth, health, peace, and progress? Or are they draining you, leaving you broken spirit and broken opportunity? Every one of us has the same 24 hours. The difference between those who build something lasting and those who just drift through life isn't talent, it's how they spend their time. Protect yours, spend it wisely, because when the clock runs out, you'll want to realize you were rich in potential but poor in time management. Motivation fades. It's like a spark. It's loud, it's bright, it lights you up in the moment. But if there's no wood to catch it, the flame dies quick. Discipline is that wood. It's the steady fuel that keeps the fire alive when the excitement is gone. Everybody loves that rush you get when you first decide to change your life, start a business, hit the gym, or chase a new dream. In that moment, you feel unstoppable. But what happens 2 weeks later when you don't feel like getting out of bed? What happens when the results don't come fast enough? That's when most people quit, not because they didn't want it, but because they were dependent on motivation instead of discipline. Look at Kobe Bryant. He didn't just rely on being motivated to get up early. Motivation can hit the snooze button, but discipline will have you in the gym at 4 a.m. whether you feel like it or not. That's why he became one of the greatest. Discipline isn't glamorous, it doesn't always look exciting, but it's the difference between people who talk about their goals and people who live them. If you only move when you feel inspired, you'll waste years waiting on a feeling that comes and goes. You can't build life on vibes. You build it on consistency. Discipline makes sure you move even when it's uncomfortable, even when nobody's watching, even when your emotions are fighting you. Think about the gym. Almost everybody gets motivated in January. The energy's high, the gyms are packed, people buying new clothes, new memberships. But check back in March. Most of those people disappear. Why? Because the spark died. The ones still in there, the ones still showing up when it's cold, when they're tired, when nobody's clapping for them. That's discipline. And 6 months later, the results show it. The same thing applies in business, in school, in relationships. It's easy to get motivated to start. It's discipline that makes you finish. Motivation is what has you writing the first page of a book. Discipline is what has you still writing on page 300 when your back hurts, your mind's tired, and you'd rather be out relaxing. Motivation is what makes you show up to work with energy the first week of a new job. Discipline is what keeps you delivering when the excitement wears off and the reality sets in. Discipline is a choice you make every single day. It's saying, I don't care how I feel. I don't care what's convenient. I'm sticking to the plan. That's how you build trust with yourself. See, a lot of people don't follow through, not because they're weak, but because they've trained themselves to break promises to themselves. Every time you say you'll do something and you don't, you chip away at your own confidence. Discipline is how you reverse that. You start keeping your word, even in small things. And over time, you build a reputation with yourself that says, I can count on me. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Discipline is not supposed to feel good all the time. It's supposed to stretch you, push you, force you out of comfort. If it felt easy, everyone would have it. That discomfort you feel when you wake up early, when you stay late, when you sacrifice, those are the growing pains of building discipline. Embrace them. They're proof you're moving forward. Think about how many dreams have died because someone was waiting for the perfect mood to act. They wanted to write when they felt inspired. They wanted to study when they felt ready. They wanted to build their business when the timing felt right. Meanwhile, the years slip by. The people who win aren't the ones who wait on the right mood. They're the ones who do it anyway. They understand that feelings are temporary, but results are permanent. There will be days you don't feel motivated. That's guaranteed. But if you have discipline, it won't matter. Discipline will have you sticking to the diet when the junk food calls your name. Discipline will have you practicing when everyone else is out partying. Discipline will have you reading when you'd rather watch TV. Discipline will have you showing up when nobody cares, and because you kept showing up one day, everybody will care. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps you warm in the cold seasons of life. Discipline is what turns potential into progress, dreams into reality, and moments into legacies. Without it, you'll keep starting and stopping, always talking about what you're going to do, never living it. With it, you'll keep moving brick by brick until the life you wanted is standing right in front of you. Your circle is either watering your growth or poisoning it. That's a truth most people don't want to face because it means they might have to look at the people closest to them with clear eyes. But the reality is the energy you keep around you is either pushing you forward or holding you back. Look around your life right now. Are your friends talking about ideas, building dreams, holding you accountable, making sure you're moving towards something real? Or are they just wasting nights complaining about what they don't have, gossiping, drowning their potential in distractions? Because if the voices around you are filled with negativity, laziness, or fear, sooner or later, that's going to seep into you. There's a study from Harvard that followed people for over 75 years, tracking what really made them happy and healthy. You know what they found? It wasn't money. It wasn't success on paper. It was the relationships people kept. The people who had strong, supportive connections lived longer, felt better, and experienced more fulfillment. Think about that. Your circle doesn't just influence your mood. It influences your actual health and future. If you want to know where you're headed, take a look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. If they're motivated, disciplined, and pushing themselves to grow, you'll feel pulled to rise with them. If they're stuck, negative, and wasting time, they'll drag you down to their level without you even realizing it. And here's the thing, it's not about looking down on anybody. We all come from different places. We all struggle. But you have to be honest about the direction someone is moving. If your vision is to build and their vision is just to survive another weekend, that's not alignment. You can love people without letting them dictate your future. You can wish the best for them without staying in environments that stunt your growth. It's like planting a seed. If you put that seed in bad soil, no matter how much potential it has, it won't grow. But if you place it in rich soil, water it, and give it sunlight, it'll bloom into everything it was meant to be. You are that seed. Your circle is the soil. If the people around you are constantly negative, jealous, or careless, you're in toxic soil, and your growth will be limited. But if they're encouraging, honest, driven, and inspired, you're in fertile soil and your life will flourish. You think back to times when you were on fire about something, an idea, a goal, a plan. Did you ever notice how the wrong people can make you doubt yourself in 5 minutes flat? You tell them what you're working on. Instead of support, you get sarcasm or fear disguised as advice. That's poison. On the flip side, the right people will hear your dream and say, how can I help? What's your next step? Don't stop. You got this. That's water. One keeps you stuck. The other keeps you growing. Too many people waste their lives trying to bring everyone with them, even those who don't want to go. You can't carry dead weight and expect to fly. Sometimes the hardest lesson is that not everyone you start with will finish with you. Childhood friends, family, people you've known for years. They might love you, but if they don't align with your growth, you'll have to create distance. It doesn't mean you cut people off cold-heartedly. It just means you set boundaries. You decide who gets the most access to your energy, because your energy is too valuable to hand out freely. And pay attention to how you feel when you leave someone's presence. Do you feel drained, doubtful, small? Or do you feel inspired, challenged, and seen? That's a test you can't ignore. Life is too short to spend years surrounded by people who don't feed your vision. You owe it to yourself to curate a circle that reflects where you want to go, not just where you've been. At the end of the day, your environment is shaping you more than you realize. If you hang around 5 broke, unmotivated people, you'll be the 6. If you hang around 5 people chasing growth, you'll be the 6 too. That's not just a saying, that's reality. Don't waste your life surrounded by people who aren't going where you're headed. Build a circle that waters your growth, sharpens your discipline, and reminds you that your vision is possible. Because the right circle doesn't just walk with you, they make sure you never stop moving. The biggest regrets in life aren't about what people did, they're about what they didn't do. That's the truth most people don't understand until it's too late. A study done in 2018 asked elderly people about their biggest regrets, and the number one answer wasn't mistakes they made, it wasn't risks they took that didn't work out. It was the chances they never took at all. They looked back and wished they had been braver, wished they had trusted themselves more, wished they had stepped out when they had the energy, the youth, the opportunity. That's the pain of playing it too safe. You might avoid failure in the short term, but in the long run, you inherit regret. And regret weighs heavier than failure ever could. You'll never be younger than you are right now. You'll never have more time than the day you're living in this moment. Every year that passes, fear gets a little stronger, excuses get a little louder, and comfort gets harder to escape. That's why you've got to take the risk while you still have time. Start that business you keep talking about. Write that book that's been sitting in your heart. Move to that city you've been dreaming about. Apply for that opportunity, launch that idea, make that call. Stop waiting for the perfect timing, because the truth is, it doesn't exist. The stars will never align in a way that feels 100% safe. And if you're waiting for all the fear to disappear before you move, you'll be waiting forever. Fear is always loudest right before the breakthrough. Think about it. Every major step in your life probably came with some fear attached. The first day at a new job, the first time you spoke in front of a crowd, the first time you tried something completely outside your comfort zone. Fear was there, but so was growth. And once you got through it, you realized it wasn't as deadly as it felt. That's how risks work. They look terrifying, standing on the edge, but once you leap, you find out you had wings the whole time. Safe looks comfortable, but safe still hurts. Staying in a job you hate because it's secure hurts. Holding back your ideas because you're afraid people will judge you hurts. Waking up 10 years later realizing you're living a life you settled for instead of a life you dreamed about, that hurts the most. You can fail chasing your dream, and you can fail playing it safe. If failure is a possibility either way, why not fail chasing something that actually means something to you? At least that way you know you went all in. And don't think taking risk means you have to be reckless. It doesn't mean quit your job tomorrow with no plan or gamble everything blindly. It means stop letting fear paralyze you. It means make the move with strategy, make the move with intention, but make the move. Too many people spend years preparing, waiting, convincing themselves they're not ready yet. But nobody ever feels completely ready. Readiness comes from action, not from waiting. The people who change the game are the ones who were willing to look foolish for a season, to fail publicly, to stumble in front of others because they believed in what they were building. Every innovator, every leader, every person you admire got where they are because at some point they took a risk that scared them. They bet on themselves. You've got to ask yourself, when the clock runs out, do you want to be the person who says, I'm glad I tried, or the one who whispers, I wish I had? Because those whispers of regret don't leave you. They stick. And the saddest part is, by the time you realize you should have leapt, the window of opportunity might be gone. You don't get forever. That's why the best time to move is always now. There's a quote that says, ships are safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. You weren't built to just sit in comfort. You were built to sail, to explore, to take on waves, to see what's out there. Yes, storms will come. Yes, you'll make mistakes. But the open sea is where you discover your strength. The harbor might feel safe, but stay there long enough and you'll rust. So stop hiding behind fear. Stop telling yourself you got time when none of us know how much we really have. Take the risk while you still have the chance. Risk is where growth lives, where purpose gets revealed, where legacy is built. Playing it safe your whole life just to realize safe still hurts. That's the real danger. Better to leap and fall than to stand still and waste the life you've been given. Legacy isn't about being famous, it's about impact. It's about what's left behind when your voice is no longer speaking, when your hands can no longer build, when your body is no longer here. One day, no matter who you are, that moment is going to come. The question is, when people say your name, will they remember you for what you gave or just that you existed? Too many people move through life chasing things that vanish the second they're gone. Cars that get sold, money that gets spent, titles that fade from memory. But impact, real impact, is eternal. Think about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't live long, but the work he poured into his purpose still moves generations decades later. His time was short, but his legacy is long. That's the power of investing in something beyond yourself. And you don't need a microphone in front of millions to leave a legacy that matters. Your legacy could be raising kids who grow into strong, loving, resilient people. It could be starting a small program in your community that helps even a handful of people find hope. It could be creating art that inspires someone to believe in themselves. It could be kindness you show every single day that ripples farther than you ever see. The truth is, you don't always get to control how much time you have, but you do control what you do with the time you're given. Too many people spend years chasing validations, chasing trends, chasing the kind of success that disappears the moment the applause dies down. They think if they make enough money, if they look important enough, if they're recognized enough, they'll matter. But when you're gone, none of that sticks unless it was tied to something deeper. Nobody cares what car you drove. Nobody cares how many likes your post got. What they remember is how you made them feel, what you contributed, the seeds you planted that kept growing even after you left. Legacy is built in the everyday. It's built in how you treat people, how you use your gifts, how you respond to challenges. It's built when you choose to lift others up instead of just climbing for yourself. Sometimes people think legacy has to be big, like building schools or starting companies, but it's not always about scale. A mother working 2 jobs but still showing up for her kids leaves a legacy of resilience and love. A man who mentors one teenager and keeps him from going down the wrong path leaves a legacy that could ripple for generations. Small acts compound into big impact when they come from a place of purpose. But legacy also requires sacrifice. It means choosing to invest in things that outlast you instead of always chasing short-term comfort. It might mean you don't get instant gratification, planting trees you never sit under, laying bricks for a foundation you might not see completed. That's not wasted effort, that's vision. You might not see the full result of your work in your lifetime, but someone else will eat from the fruit you planted. And don't get it twisted, leaving a legacy doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Some of the most impactful people were flawed, but they kept showing up, kept giving, kept pouring into something greater than themselves. Legacy isn't about spotless lives, it's about purposeful lives. The point is this: don't waste your life chasing things that die with you. Don't measure your worth by possessions or achievements that will be forgotten. Measure it by the lives you touched, the values you instilled, the hope you spread, the love you gave. That's what lasts. One day, long after you're gone, someone will be walking in the shade of a tree you planted, maybe without even knowing your name. That's impact. That's legacy. And that's how you make sure your life continues to speak, even when you no longer can listen. Life is short, but it's wide. You can waste it chasing nothing, or you can build something that outlives you. Know your purpose, value your time, stay disciplined, guard your circle, take risks, build legacy. Every day you wake up is another shot at making your life matter. Don't waste it.